It's do or die here at Coney Island for Brooklyn FC, and they've got the prime challenge of taking on the freshly minted regular season champs, the Carolina Ascent. Welcome one and all to Maimonides Park. Mark Schoenster, Christine Huber with you on Peacock for this final game of the regular season for Brooklyn FC, and they need all 3 points to stay alive in the playoff race. There's a ton of different configurations those last four can be. The fact of the matter is, there is a window for Brooklyn FC to make it into the playoffs, even though they don't play in the final weekend of the regular season. But it all starts with getting a win here and maybe bolstering their goal differential as well. Well, they're up against a really tough side here, Christine. In a year of firsts, it's been Carolina who've been in the limelight for a lot of them.
The Carolina Ascent has had so many firsts this year. They hosted the first game. Vicky Bruce scored the first goal in league history, the first win in Super League history, first team to clinch playoffs, and on top of that, a home playoff advantage. And now they are the first team to win the Players' Shield, win that regular season. They have been consistent all season long, and it shows by them hoisting this trophy.
And trying to collect some more firsts on the individual accolade side of things, Jill Aguilera in the lead for the Golden Playmaker race. She has been a threat all season long.
She sure has. She's explosive, she's athletic, she can play with both feet. In college, she scored a lot, but here in the Pro League, she's turned to become that playmaker. She used her speed to get behind the defense and send those balls right across the six.
And talking about the home side, Brooklyn FC, it's been a Jekyll and Hyde kind of season. So good in the fall, but in the spring, some things have come loose.
And it's that big stat right there, the goals against. They have conceded 26 goals in the spring season compared to the fall. That is huge. They've lost a little bit of energy, lost a little bit of firepower. They need 3 points today.
Well, one thing, though, that the spring season can flaunt, it's the presence of Caroline Kelly.
Kelly is a midfielder turned forward, and she has never looked back since then. She secured her spot as being one of the top goal scorers now. She knows how to score. She knows how to find the back of the net. They need her to come up big today.
What a seamless addition she's been to the squad since the beginning of April, and a fantastic finish last game against Spokane, just a one-time pop shot. With that in mind, playoff hopes are on the line for Brooklyn, getting right for a postseason run on the other end for Carolina. Who claims the edge this afternoon? Find out up next on Peacock. We've got the lineups and the kickoff on the horizon.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
We are live here in Brooklyn for the regular season finale for Brooklyn FC, the penultimate game of the regular season for the Carolina Ascent. It's Mark Schoenster and Christine Huber with you on the broadcast. Let's take a look at some starting 11s. The most notable one for Brooklyn, we've got a professional debut between the pipes.
Goldberg in a goal, getting her first appearance here for Brooklyn and ever in her professional career. We're going to see Garziano in the middle there. She has 6 goals. She combines a lot with George on the right, who has 4 goals, 4 assists. And they are going to look to combo with Kelly, who we just covered in the open.
Caroline Kelly, just her 5th appearance with the club. Meanwhile, for Carolina Ascent, just one change from the lineup that sealed the deal last weekend.
Gonzalez is going to be up top. In for Hutchinson, we talked with Coach Philip Poole, and he said Gonzalez just pushing and pushing for more minutes. She's going to set the tone. She really flies up top. Let's see what she's going to be able to bring today.
Working with the likes of Harding, Corbin, Parker. Not a bad combination on the attacking end, that's for certain. And then that's even without mentioning Aguilera on that left back spot, who bombs up that left-hand side. The road white uniforms for the Carolina Ascent. Meanwhile, the black pinstripes for Brooklyn, looking to keep their season alive, their final regular season match. And no matter what comes of the playoffs, this will be their last home game of the season here in Brooklyn. The best they could finish is 4th place, but if they can finish in 4th place, they'll be awfully pleased about it.
And how exciting is this? These last final weeks, it's coming down to the wire of figuring out who's going to be in playoffs and who is not.
Been a great first season for the USL Super League, and especially with this added context that we've got a lot of good teams that are all fighting and vying for those playoff spots. You never really know what to expect in the opening year of a brand new soccer league. I mean, you could get completely lopsided parity, but it has been a race from the opening weekend to now.
And from top to bottom, just quality teams, quality players. Every game means something, and that's what just made it so exciting this year.
Carolina Ascent on the other end of things were able to lock up the player shield. They've got 2 games to find their groove going into the playoffs. Always an interesting balance there. How much do you want to utilize some load management and take some minutes off of your key players, or how much do you want to make sure they're still clicking it in the groove of things going into the playoffs, because you don't want to add rust to your team.
And with Carolina Ascent, you know, they did have those few weeks off. They were able to adjust some things, get players rested, and here we have the kick.
Whistle's been sounded by Adore Monroy, our head official. It'll be Carolina Ascent going left to right, Brooklyn right to left here in Maimonides Park. We welcome you in here on Peacock to start off this Saturday in the USL Super League. Been 2 weeks since Brooklyn FC played their last match. It was also here at this park. A game they were up 2-0 for a majority of against Spokane Zephyr. Then a red card resulted in it all coming undone in the last 20 minutes of the game. A 2-2 draw. They really needed those 3 points. That's why they're in the spot they're in now. They need 3 points to stay alive. They not only have to win this game, and then you have to sit back and watch as the rest of this Saturday unravels, and then there's a whole nother weekend that, unfortunately, you have the dreadful experience of just sitting and watching and waiting to see what becomes of your fate. But that's for the future.
It's going to be a very long week for Brooklyn. If they're able to get 3 points today, they have a hope, they have a chance. A loss or tie, and their season is done.
In that game against Spokane, those first 70 minutes, technical director Kevin Tenya said that we had a pretty good game, and we dominated, and even overall, he felt the performance in the match was pretty good, but obviously, after you take a red card, games change dramatically, and despite that, he felt that the ladies fought till the very end. Still are trying to claw out those 3 points. You concede a goal late in stoppage time. It's a gut punch, but you have to turn around and switch back into a high gear here against such a good Carolina Ascent team.
if you're Carolina today, you want to be able to control that tempo. A lot of possession, I have a feeling we're going to see from Carolina. Brooklyn on the other side, because they need the 3 points, they should be pressing, they should be pushing up. It's just tough to break this Carolina defense.
The more possession Carolina have in this one, the more pressure it just puts on Brooklyn. Because it's not even just that they need to win this game, but in a lot of scenarios, it may come down to goal differential that separates the likes of Brooklyn FC with Spokane, Dallas, Fort Lauderdale. There are a lot of different configurations and ways that the standings can shake out, but in a lot of ways, there's a lot of scenarios where there are several teams tied for that last spot on total points, which means then you go to the tiebreakers, and funny enough, the first tiebreaker is in-season head-to-head, which this Brooklyn FC side is equal to all of these other teams. No one has the edge in that regard, which would then mean the tiebreaker falls to goal differential. And unfortunately, for this Brooklyn FC side, they're the ones at the bottom of that list as far as the teams competing for a playoff spot. Their goal differential currently sitting at -4 in comparison to Fort Lauderdale's +1, +12 for Dallas Trinity, and +5 for Spokane Zephyr. So they're going to be pressed in this game not only to win, but also to score some extra goals to try to close the gap a little bit there.
And those numbers partly are because of the goals conceded they've in this spring season. We didn't see that happen in the fall. I mean, Brooklyn was just on all gears, moving forward, playing freely. And then in the spring season, just so many goals allowed. They just lost that good, happy feeling playing on the field. So let's see if they're able to get that back today.
Meanwhile, for Carolina Ascent last weekend, clinching the Players' Shield with a 1-1 draw against Tampa. A lot of contact there. There will be a free kick incoming. Despite winning the trophy, head coach Philip Poole, it's been business as usual this week. As a matter of fact, the very next day after clinching the title, they had a reserve game at 10 a.m. Sunday morning. So
how great was that?
got to quickly flip it around. Certainly no wild celebrations, but obviously the morale boost has been great. And it's step 1 of 2 accomplished on the season. You know, you set the 2 goals, win the regular season, win the postseason. They've done the first half of it with 2 games to spare too, which is impressive.
Here we see Gonzalez on the ball here, just one of those players that Philip Poole was talking about, just wants to get more minutes and has been working hard at it.
Catherine Gonzalez. Curling service, still in the fray, and it trickles wide.
Dangerous ball into the box there by Gonzalez. I kind of like it. Nice and soft, bent in for anybody to redirect. Just missed a little bit there by Harding, unable to get her full head on it. Nice touch there, Poole.
Yeah, Philip Poole showing that he still got it.
Yeah. It's pretty good for a goalkeeper, huh?
Yeah. There's a look at Philip Poole. 13, 5, and 8 so far this season. Enough to reach 47 points, which was the clinching marker for this Carolina Ascent team. Regular season champs and have home field advantage in the inaugural USL Super League playoffs. Trying to make the playoffs, this Brooklyn FC side. The mentality for these past 2 weeks, obviously they've been working hard. They know they need to win. But a lot of tough preparation. And it's going to be a challenging game to play this Carolina Ascent side. Final game of the season, and you have to go up against the champs. It's a tall order, but they're competitors. They're going to do what they need to do as this one's played forward for Kelly. Caroline Kelly cannot get it by.
That was a nice ball in, though. Just curve bent around this Carolina defense. And you can see how dangerous it is when Caroline Kelly, when she gets her foot on that ball, she just wants to attack defenders head on.
Looks like it was Tricoli who was there on the defensive side against Kelly. Helping out on the defensive end. Service will bounce in and picked up by Samantha Murphy. Murphy, the goalkeeper, added this spring season and has been quite the addition to this side. This being just her 10th appearance, but it's got a little bit spooky there for a moment for Carolina. This is her 10th appearance, Samantha Murphy. She's got 5 clean sheets already, so half the games that she's played in, she's been able to keep that goose egg on the scoreboard.
Not too shabby at all, and Philip Poole talks about those two goalkeepers just challenging each other, as we have Meg McClellan, who played a lot in that fall season, and now Murphy stepped up between the two of them, just battling every single day in practice. And I think with Carolina, it's been the consistency of all their players working hard from the fall season and carrying through to the spring.
Philip Poole talked about adding competition to every positional group, even the ones that he felt didn't really need competition, but you just gotta keep that competitive edge going throughout the team. You never wanna create complacency in a roster or let anybody feel like they can, without earning it, get a starting spot every single week, no matter how good of a player they are.
Murphy's come up with such clutch saves as well. Penalty save last week. She's very aggressive off her line. She plays high off her line.
Not a ton of changes to the starting lineup from last game to this one for the Carolina Ascent. Well, certainly going to be an item of focus going into this game. Just how much do they change now that they don't have anything league-wise to achieve in these last 2 games? But like you mentioned, they just had 3 weeks off, and although 3 weeks is great for recovery, it's also, on the opposite side, not great for form and flow, because that is a good chunk of time that you don't play a competitive match. And so Philip Poole wants to improve their continuity in these final 2 games of the season. He didn't feel they played their best against Tampa, and so they have some things to tweak. And sure, maybe there'll be some minute management to make sure that you don't run anybody ragged before the playoffs, but I mean, you just got 3 weeks off though, so assumedly a lot of these players feeling fresher than they did prior to that break, but at the same time, perhaps you gotta buff off some rust.
Yeah, Hutch really being is the only change in the starting lineup. Besides that, it's that solid crew that Carolina's had all season long. You know, obviously there's been some injuries in and out. I think today it's important. You can see already, right? They want to control the game. They want to control possession. But with that, they cannot be lackadaisical with the ball at all. Brooklyn, they have that high pressure from their forwards, and they can just look to nip it right off your foot.
They'll certainly be fishing for an opportunity to grab the reins in this one, but Carolina dictating the flow generally in this match so far. Merrick, and that one poked away from her by Mackenzie Pluck. There's Alexa Goldberg, 23 years old, from St. Petersburg, Florida, making her professional debut. And it'll be easy work for her there. 23 years old. Just played in the fall with the University of Florida, the Gators. So quickly turning around to the professional game. What a big opportunity it is for her. At the same time, though, of course, it's a pretty tough game to be put into as well.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure, and also going up against a great side in the Carolina Ascent. Hey, try by fire, I suppose.
And I'm sure Carolina recognizes that. I think that's why we saw that early shot there before. They're going to challenge her, especially if she's going to come off her line. If Carolina is able to see that she is high out, they are going to take a shot.
This one played in centrally. Parker knocked over. And it'll be a free kick in a dangerous spot. Hope Breslin, the guilty assailant here, as
Brooklyn fans not happy about that one, but a little push off.
talking about testing a new goalkeeper. This is another spot where you could see how Goldberg measures up. Standing at 5'7", so might be trying to pick out one of those corners. Some extra warnings need to be made by our head official, Adere Monroy. Got Porter and Aguilera behind the ball. Aguilera strikes, and too much underneath it.
They were definitely showing different set-piece formations here, whether they were going to chip it and make Goldberg come out and decide. And it looks like the last second there, Aguilera, that has some good bend on it, just a little too high. And we know, we see her assist there, right? 7 assists. She is in the playmaker race for the entire league, but she also knows how to score goals as well. She's just that type of threat.
And we saw the goal she scored from a free kick earlier this season. I mean, she can do both. She can pull the strings or be on the end of the attacking opportunity. Corbin out wide to Parker. Parker's cross, winding inside, a little too high.
And we also know how dangerous as Mia Corbin is when she gets the ball as well. I mean, she'll take on 2, 3 players, doesn't matter. Good no call there.
The focus in this game for Brooklyn FC. The key that we were hearing about from the technical director, Kevin Tenyo, is concentration. He said it's a game it's going to play for about 95 or so minutes once you account for the extra time added on. It's a game that could be won in the first minute. It's a game that could be won in the 95th minute. Of course, anywhere in between as well. You've got to be ready for that moment. You have to stay focused. And this is a Carolina Ascent side that's going to make you use all your brain power. Starting to see some precipitation here in Coney Island. We're only sitting in the lower 60s weather-wise, and the rain will add some additional coolage.
It's a nice tackle there by Tricoli coming through.
Brooklyn fans, are you already itching to be back in Coney Island next season? Season tickets are now on sale for the 2025-2026 season, beginning in August. Early bird pricing is available through June 1st, so scan the QR code on the screen to get your tickets today. See you out at Coney Island. Be a little bit warmer than in August when the season starts up again for the 25-26 season.
You would hope, but you never know. And now we're seeing that Brooklyn pressure really starting to pick up a little more.
Tricoli take it forward herself and tried to roll it ahead, but not on the same page with Gonzalez.
We really haven't seen Brooklyn offensively find George on that right flank much. And she's just so dynamic out there. She loves running the flank. She's able to get by players, and she sends some great crosses in. So let's see if they can get her the ball.
It's her 7th start of the season. Catherine Gonzalez played a little under 700 minutes this season. Will definitely eclipse this mark. As a matter of fact, she's just right up against it now. 1 assist on the year. Ball sprayed over to the left-hand side. Pluck with a ever-rising ball will go out of bounds.
Needs to be better there from Pluck, and she usually is able to serve that in, and she throws her hands up to apologize to her teammates there. She's not able to get it further down to the end line, then she's got to cut it back onto her right foot to send a good service in.
We can hear the whirring of the wind here at Maimonides Park. Rain coming down. Some extra directional challenges when you put the ball in the air. I'll certainly add another element to the game as the pitch gets a little more slippery as the game wears on. Composed with the ball at their feet. Their goal not too far away. Some pressure from Brooklyn, but not enough to rattle Carolina.
If Kelly's going to step there and be the first one to pressure that high, the next set of players need to come through and fill that gap and win the next pass. If not, Carolina's just going to be able to pass out of it.
Just play a little keep away. Not too difficult when it's only one person chasing you down. Enter the Prinks Tires Tailgate Sweepstakes for a chance to win a prize pack worth up to $3,000. Scan the QR code on the screen to enter today.
This rain really coming down hard now.
Can perhaps introduce an element of chaos to this game. Goldberg getting flanked by 2 white jerseys, gets it away. Ultimately opts for the bad ending as opposed to the worst ending.
Carolina is going to be putting her under pressure today.
Gonna try to see what she's made of. Parker loses it, but it goes back to Porter. When it comes to attacking this Brooklyn side, Philip Poole said that they're expecting Brooklyn's best in this game, of course, playing with everything on the line. Is it their best in general? Obviously, we saw in the fall, but there have been glimpses in the spring as well. Some really great attacking players, good defensive core, and they've had 2 weeks to get ready for Carolina. Phil Poole saying they will not give an inch, so expect high energy, high octane performance from the opposition. So far, they've been able to keep it cool in this game, not let it get too hectic.
Big thing for Carolina today. Obviously, they want to get a goal. They want to get the 3 points as well, but they need to make it out of here with no injuries. Keep everybody healthy so they can prep for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the potential downside to the continuing to play or starting players for these last 2 games. Obviously, you want to keep that flow and that groove going into the playoffs, but you do put yourself at that risk.
And I think that 3 weeks off really helped them in this situation. They were able to play last week. Like I said, not the best game that they've had, and they can definitely play a lot better. And now you can kind of be in this driver's seat today, keep possession like they have been.
That's a wonderful ball. Couldn't quite be corralled in on the immediate touch. Audrey Harding over on that left-hand side. Look to bring in the switch. She's up against Ginger Fontenot, getting her first professional start. Just her third appearance for the club. First year of the pro ranks after playing at Penn State.
Right now, Carolina with the possession advantage, 65% right now. Kind of what we would expect coming in. It's just if you're going to stay at 0-0, it's just so dangerous with this Brooklyn squad. If their forwards move up, once they start pressing a little higher, winning that second ball, they can transition quickly and go to goal.
On the flip side, though, the longer Carolina has possession in this game, that bubbling frustration is only going to be harder to fend off for Brooklyn, a team that needs goals in this game at some point in time. Again, not only do they need 3 points, but they're probably going to need to win by more than just a 1-goal margin. Obviously, when you play in a game, the first motivation is to get the win, get the 3 points. But in this one, once you get that lead, you almost need to keep your foot on the gas as much as you can. But it's such a dangerous game, though, because if you start throwing more caution to the wind, then you're leaving yourself exposed. If there's any team that'll take advantage of that and pick you apart, it's this Carolina side. Certainly not the matchup you're looking for in a game where you're not only trying to win, but also trying to help out your goal differential. Of course, that's a two-way street, though, when it comes to goal differential tiebreaker, which is that not only is it what you do, but it's also what your opponents do in those other games. They could, in theory, lose by several goals and drop their goal differential down, but obviously you want to do as much as you can in the game that you can control.
And Carolina, you know, I said they've been consistent both seasons, fall and spring season. They've only allowed 22 goals this year. So defensively, they've been on the same page. Of course, they've had mistakes. Of course, they've let in goals they want back. But for the most part, that is top of the league right now, allowing goals. So now you're looking at a Brooklyn squad who needs to come out, needs to not only win, but score a lot of goals, and you're going against one of the top defenses in the league.
Certainly a tall order, as we get this corner kick that'll most likely be taken by Jill Aguilera. 7 assists this season, which leads the pack. Aguilera's ball dips down, took a bounce. They'll recycle. Aguilera, second service, tapped away.
You see how dangerous.
Skipping ball goes wide. Had Goldberg lunging.
You see how dangerous Aguilera, when she takes those corner kicks, she just bends it in high. And like I said, they're going to be challenging Goldberg all day, and this is why we see more shots from the outside. With the wet grass right now, that ball is going to skip.
Gonna do what they can to test the green goalkeeper. So far, so good for Alexa Goldberg, though. In addition, in January, for this Brooklyn side, after playing with the Gators in the fall. George does well there in a tight space, but then the distribution doesn't reach its intended target. And Ascent. 2 road games to close out the regular season, this one, and then next week against Dallas. Philip Poole said, it's great because we have got 2 absolute fights coming up. These are 2 teams that have to win to secure playoff spots, and he's happy about it. He thinks it's great to get 2 matches where they're going to be getting the opponent's best. Would rather that than to get what he called a sleepy matchup where it's 2 teams not having really anything to play for. He wants his team to kind of experience that playoff intensity.
And they just saw that last week against Tampa Bay, who's already clinched playoffs as well.
And then after that, makes coming home feel all that nicer when you've got 2 rugged games to close out the year. And then you know you're going to be playing in front of your home fans as this one nearly slips through for Gonzalez. And then the ball sails over top. Porter taking a lash at it.
Gonzalez being a little sneaky in there. Has the ball at her foot, unable to get it out, and actually shoots towards Garziano there, I think, in the box instead of the ball. That just keeps it alive.
Another opportunity starting to sneak into this one for Carolina. The sun has peered back out here. So it was about, what, 10 to 15 minutes of rain and cleared up again. We were talking to some people there in Brooklyn saying that the weather hasn't been able to make up their mind as of late.
Exactly it.
Now I've got a case in point just here in the first 30 minutes of this match.
I mean, it looks beautiful there now. Look at that. Philip Poole may even take off his winter vest.
Hopefully he's got somewhere to hang it so it can dry off. Scarpelli settles this one down. Garziano. Lovely idea, but Caroline Kelly was just a tad offside.
If you look at Brooklyn's roster, right, you look at their field players, you look at the forwards, the midfielders, such great individual players. They were connecting in the fall. It seems like they're just not connected as much in this spring. And they're missing those combo plays, right? They're missing that extra run, the run off the ball, the 1-2s, the wall passes, the overlaps. You just don't see it as much as we saw it in the fall.
Talk about that, those combinations and that free-flowing play. It's something that this Carolina team has really honed and fostered throughout this season. It's been very composed here in the first 30 minutes on the road for the visitors.
Carolina has just been consistent all year long. They held a season high 11-match unbeaten streak from August to November. So, I mean, they've done it. Even if they've let in goals. There's games when they should have had 3 points and they only wound up getting 1 point, but they've been consistent all year.
Merrick taking a drive forward. Addison Merrick was looking to lay it off to the left-hand side for Gonzalez.
I like the idea. She just has to hit it with the outside of her left foot instead of bringing it across her body with the inside of her right.
Aguilera venturing forward. Cleared away. That'll be a Carolina throw deep in Brooklyn territory. Brooklyn fans, are you already itching to be back at Coney Island next season? Season tickets are now on sale for the 2025-2026 season. Beginning in August, early bird pricing is available through June 1st, so scan the QR code on the screen to get your tickets today. See you out at Coney Island. Effort flying towards goal, and Goldberg ready for the challenge. That one bounces to Gonzalez. She'll play it back. Tricoli. Of course, absence of Hansen on that back line for Brooklyn after serving the red card suspension for that game against Spokane. Means Allison Pantuso slips back into that center back spot. Fontenot plays in at right back. Configuration the team saw earlier in the year, a center back pairing of Kelsey Hill and Allison Pantuso. Kelly looking to slip through. The ball was too far ahead. Samantha Murphy privy to the danger.
It's a nice idea, nice ball through. It's just tough, right? Sam Murphy, she plays off her line. She's very aggressive coming out, and that's exactly why. She is going to gobble up those through balls in the center.
Putting out fires before they can really start to spread.
Yeah. And this is why, you know, Brooklyn's game plan, it has to be hitting the flanks. I mean, we still haven't seen George involved too much at all. They've only played it to her once, maybe twice today.
Mackenzie George, 4 goals, 5 assists. 5th in the league with 93 crosses, so it's someone they try to go to often, Brooklyn, to create some opportunities. Been put on lockdown so far in this one.
Merrick loves to nutmeg her defenders.
Goldberg stepping up for that rolling ball inside her penalty area. It's always good for a goalkeeper, especially in your debut, to get a couple of shots early to just palm them down. It hasn't been anything too hectic for her to handle, but she's had some stung in her direction for her to handle and get you acclimated to the speed of the game.
And so far this first half, she needs to be ready for a shot from anywhere. It seems like Carolina, every player has a green light to shoot. If you're within 30 yards, take a shot.
Well handled there. Ball be rolled up the pitch, hopefully trying to get vertical. That was intended for Mackenzie George.
You see Brooklyn shaking and mixing stuff up a little bit up top. George now playing a little more central, so that could be that through ball now that they're looking for. And now if Garziano is the one who moved to the right, now play her outside on the flank.
Well, free kick opportunity incoming now for Brooklyn. And this is roughly the area where Caroline Kelly scored a fabulous goal 2 weeks ago. A ball that was rolled centrally and then served up her way, and one-timer popped it into the back of the net against this very same goal. It'll be Samantha Kroger along with, I believe that was Breslin with her behind the dead ball.
Garziano is the one. They're going to look to see out of the two of them who's going to send it in.
And will they be looking for number 14? Garziano floats this one up, and it's headed towards goal! Stopped along the line! Samantha Murphy stamps it against the ground right before it crossed the boundary.
This is a great bent ball in, getting her head on it, but I tell you what, credit Murphy with that reaction save. I mean, that is so hard to read because you don't know where or who the ball is even coming off of. Excellent save there by Murphy.
I believe that was Kelsey Hill, the center back, who got her head on it. Not a bad look. And easily the best challenge against either goal here in this match. Sometimes a set piece is all you need to start swaying momentum in your favor.
And it's not like Brooklyn doesn't know how to score, right? They scored so many goals in the fall. They had so many deadly combinations. And now you throw Kelly in the mix as well. It just adds more to their goal contributions.
Fantastic save to keep this one at 0-0. And now a chance to test the goalkeeper off her line. It sailed a little high. You've talked about it. She plays up high, and Samantha Kroger recognizing that.
And this is exactly it, right? It's that risk reward with Murphy in goal. She's so aggressive, she comes out, she plays high, but we all know that. So that's the reward going out. She's able to win those through balls. The risk is she's open for chips just like that. And Kroger, she's going to want that one back. Just didn't have enough time to dip down.
Good idea, though.
And this has got to be exciting now, the momentum for Brooklyn, right? You had a great set piece, great shot by Kroger. They have to keep up this pressure, keep that momentum going with them.
Their last game in the regular season to show the Super League their identity. Kevin Tenya said they're a multicultural organization with a team that fights at every moment and every action. We're starting to see that fight really show up now in this matchup. Had to weather the storm both literally and figuratively early on in this game from Carolina. But they're gaining their footing now. A tumbling takes place, and it'll be a free kick for Carolina. So our first booking of the afternoon, Mackenzie Pluck, collecting her 4th yellow card of the season.
So that makes sense. So the card is going to be for stopping that goal-scoring opportunity by grabbing the jersey. It wasn't on the tackle and the foul. The referee doing a great job there, letting Carolina play on. I'm not sure what the Coney Island fans are booing about. But their replay probably did not go as far back as our replay did, because it's obviously a foul, grabbing the jersey, slowing her down, slowing Carolina down on that counterattack, worthy of a yellow card.
A professional foul from Mackenzie Pluck. Trying to slow down that offensive opportunity. Gonzalez already has one good service. That one headed down, not fully dealt with. Still in the mixer, and Goldberg jumps up for it. Fans erupting in response in support of Alexa Goldberg. You see them there. Their last chance to see Brooklyn FC here at Maimonides Park. At least until August.
Goldberg definitely getting some touches in this first half. Looks like we may have another yellow card here for Descent.
So Sarah Tricoli with her 3rd of the season going into the books. Been heavily involved in this game so far, Tricoli. Or alongside Porter and Corbin in that middle of the pitch. Pretty free flowing. Kroger. Tap this one to the left.
Look at this space at the top of your screen, that right flank. Brooklyn has to find a way to get it over there.
Mackenzie George on the opposite end earns a corner kick. Mackenzie George sneaking her way to the other side of the pitch there.
Yeah, they've slowly moved her into the center, switching things up, and maybe that is because she hasn't been getting the ball on that right flank.
Service incoming from Garziano. Not headed out, but contact means a free kick.
That ball almost went as high as the Ferris wheel there.
A lot of air underneath it. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Two more minutes plus stoppage time to go in this first half. Kroger definitely getting her hand on it there. A half that started very much in favor of the visitors, the Players' Shield champions, but Brooklyn have started to ease their way into this match. And right now the scoreline still sits at 0-0. Butler rolls it up. Harding trying to combine with Aguilera there.
Yeah, Corbin dancing a little on the sideline there.
Approaching the 45-minute mark here. Still anyone's game to take. 3 points paramount for Brooklyn. Merrick pokes it away. And we're gonna get just 1 minute added on here. Brooklyn trying to ask one more question before that whistle sounds. Service drilled in and bounced wide. Carolina might have a chance now to lob it the other direction. Hold up ahead, searching for George, who's back over on that right-hand side. And right now, I think they're just trying to figure out a way to get her involved in this game.
Yeah, and even George is calling up her teammates. Just a little more high pressure we need to see from Brooklyn.
Last professional stint was in Iceland before making her way back over here. And the halftime whistle sounds. Still anyone's game to take, but Brooklyn, they're the ones more desperate to find a goal in this one. 0-0 between Carolina and Brooklyn FC after 45.
And Brooklyn was getting some good momentum there, the end of that first half. They had a chance off the free kick. They had some good services in. They're starting now to move a little more forward. Going to be a few adjustments at halftime. They need to play off that right flank more, play a little wider, a little more switch of the field, and that's going to enable the middle to open and hopefully get higher quality shots.
So 0-0 between these two. Last meeting of the season between these two sides, of course. Last game of the season for Brooklyn FC. 3 points or they get eliminated. 2 shots on target for the visiting Ascent. Meanwhile, 1 shot on target, and it warranted a big save from the goalkeeper. And speaking of big saves, we have got the goalkeeper for the Carolina Ascent on the line with us here. Samantha Murphy will be chatting with us on Peacock before we go to break. Samantha, got Mark Schoenster and Christine Huber here. We appreciate you hopping on. After 45 minutes, still 0-0. What have you liked from your team's performance so far?
Yeah, very competitive game. Shorter width of a field. A bit of a challenge for us, but I'm really happy with how we fought to be in and stay in the game. It hasn't been perfect, but we've tried different things and we haven't collapsed as a team. Our communication is good and we'll figure out exactly what we need to do from coaches and the different angles. So we fought through the half and had some good chances. They did too.
And talk about that big save you had off of Brooklyn's free kick there. You seemed to just squash it right on the line. Talk about how you saw it coming off of them.
Yeah, we work on it a little bit in practice, just if you're not going to go for the first ball. Yeah, praise the Lord. Good timing, good save, good marking from the defender, and we just got it, so good.
Just got it indeed. Well, Samantha, we appreciate you taking the time. We'll cut you loose, go in the locker room, and get ready for that second half.
Thank you, guys.
With that, we're going to step aside for a brief break. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the news around the league. 0-0 your scoreline between Brooklyn and Carolina after 45. Will that remain the case in the second half? You're just going to have to stick around and find out on Peacock.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Launches this ball and finds the winner. Oh, what a play! It's a bending effort.
Caitlin Clark, amazing at assists. Gainbridge, the ultimate assist for your savings. But ever since they teamed up, she's taken assisting to a whole new level. Caitlin Clark, great at assists. Gainbridge, great at assists for your savings.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
The 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I don't care. I paint the town red.
Survive this, it's going to make the whole story that much better.
The bright horses are broken free from the fields.
We're back here at Maimonides Park. 0-0 between Brooklyn and Carolina after 45 minutes. You're watching the Super League on Peacock. Mark Schoenster and Christine Huber with you here. Here's some of the news from around the league, and of course, the most important bit of it, the Carolina Ascent last weekend, locking up the Player Shield. They've earned it.
They really have. They've been consistent all year, fall season and spring season. 11-game unbeaten streak is one of the reasons why got them this shield.
And then, of course, some great other teams trying to slip into the playoffs. Tampa Bay locking up a spot and now trying to find a home game here this weekend. Every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season long on the SiriusXM app.
The Carolina Ascent are USL Super League Player Shield winners. What went right in year one to get the first ever trophy? Plus, we break down all the potential scenarios as we head into Decision Day.
Ascent's Riley Parker also joins the show. She talks about her decision not to wear a cowboy hat in the latest NASCAR Game Bridge outing and what it would mean to win the double in this inaugural season.
It'll certainly be worth checking out, and the rest of halftime will be worth checking out after this break on Peacock. Highlights and stats are up next. Let's take a look at the big moments, the close calls in the first half between Brooklyn and Carolina. Scoreless, but certainly opportunities.
Definitely a few opportunities. As you see, Aguilera with the free kick there, bends that one, but a bit too high.
And the 26th minute, Alexa Goldberg would once again be put to the task in her professional debut That one just skipping wide, but she ended up getting some of her first professional saves in those first 45 minutes.
And we see Carolina has a green light to shoot from everywhere, and exactly that right there with Goldberg just controlling her near post. And then on the flip side, Murphy coming up big. This is a tough save because it's bouncing around and there's so many players that can hit off of.
Well, possession certainly favoring the visitors, as you imagine they were game planning for, to try to take some of the sting out of this game. So they have the edge there, but the fact of the matter is it's still 0-0, and the shots on target disparity not that different, even though a couple more shots have been taken in general by the Carolina Ascent. It'll be interesting to see what kind of tweaks and adjustments these two sides have for the second 45 minutes, and we are not too far off from it. We're going to step aside one more time when we come back. Second half kickoff is right here on Peacock. Brooklyn trying to find new heights in the second half. Meanwhile, the Carolina Ascent, they are sitting at the top of the table. They've clinched that spot. Now it's just all about getting right before the playoff run begins. Mark Schoenstert, Christine Hubert with you here on Peacock. Just waiting for that second half to get started. And there's going to be a change. And Christine, it is a very intriguing change because we are getting a goalkeeper substitution, and it's not for the player making her professional debut. It's for Samantha Murphy. She is being subbed out for Megan McClelland. I mean, it is such an intense goalkeeping competition between the two. It's so intense that they're going to get both goalkeepers in here.
And why not? I mean, McClellan She is such high quality. She's gotten those clean sheets in the fall season, help propel Carolina to obviously a great fall season. The competition is so intense and so high between those two goalkeepers at Carolina that it just makes them both that next level up.
Well, I certainly don't have my ears in the dressing room right now, but my assessment of the situation is certainly not that Murphy had a bad first half. She had a fantastic save. This is all about one of their names will need to be called each and every game in the playoffs, and you might as well have them both ready for it with some game minutes here late in the season, especially in a match where they don't have anything league-wise to gain as far as points are concerned.
And you certainly don't lose anything by putting McClellan in as well. Now, don't get me wrong, they are two very different goalkeepers, right? We talk about Murphy. She comes out aggressive. She comes out high. She comes out strong. Where McClellan, not as aggressive, but she's great at getting those high balls in the air, is going to be able to control this defense, and for Carolina's hopes, limit the shots Brooklyn has.
Megan McClellan getting her 18th appearance of the season, has 6 clean sheets, and is certainly in the Golden Glove conversation despite not having started recently, as Corbin, who's in a conversation all of her own, she's trying to find the back of the net there.
And the big thing with Meg back there in the net now, she's a possession-based goalkeeper. They are going to be able to play back to her. She's going to keep the possession. You know you can rely on her, and that's probably part of the switch here, because we saw in the first half what Carolina was doing. Possession, keeping the ball, not letting Brooklyn have it.
Brooklyn able to win back possession, though. Try to streak forward. This one shot taken! Off the woodwork. An ambitious effort, but not far off.
Welcome back, Meg. You're going to start right off with a high ball. And, I mean, that just hits off the crossbar. Meg McClellan doesn't even need a tip on that. It's the crossbar that saves her there.
Off the roof of that crossbar. A tough effort. But perhaps a message sent for Brooklyn. Harding up against Fontenot. Harding's ball drops down for Corbin. Mia Corbin tied for the lead in the Golden Boot race with 12 finishes this season. Perhaps that is the one other objective that these players could have for these last 2 games. Aguilera and Corbin in particular trying to finish off the season with the most goals and the most assists. Harding not too far behind either, with 5 of them herself.
And you know they're going to have, well, obviously they have one more regular season game, but they're going to have one extra game, at least one more, with the playoffs.
Harding steps inside the penalty area. And it's ushered out nicely by Samantha Kroger. It's like a brick wall there. It's been a heated start here in the second half. Both sides already getting looks on goal. It was at times a tentative first half. Already getting some danger here right out the gate. Sometimes it's just about assessing what you need offensively. Philip Poole telling us that as far as how you attack a team, he called all the different offensive weapons they have a tool bag, and it's just about what does the game offer and which tool do we need to utilize to break them down. Obviously, you can't knock down a screw with a hammer. You got to figure out what element of your team is going to be best to unlock the other side, find the back of the net.
And it helps when you have a lot of different tools in your toolbox.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what Carolina has. They have a little bit of everything, right? We see Mia Corbin scoring goals. You have Aguilera with the assists, with the playmakers. You have 2 goalkeepers with 6 clean sheets and 5 clean sheets.
And they'll be fishing for the combined clean sheet effort in this game. So once again, Samantha Murphy subbing out of the game. Funny enough, it's not the first time, and certainly far from the first time she's had that experience. She was a part of an incredible run at the University of North Carolina where she did not allow a goal for over 1,000 minutes. But a lot of those times, it was in games where she only played one half, which this was back in 2018. Was rotating with another goalkeeper on that roster. Certainly an unorthodox way to handle it for a college team, but worth mentioning just because of the fact that it's happening again here now.
Exactly.
Context could be different this go around given the fact that you're just trying to keep both hands fresh and ready for the postseason. But the fact of the matter is that it's not the first time it's happened. Once again, these are two fantastic goalkeepers. I'm sure it's a painful decision week in and week out who gets that starting look, and in this case, the decision was both, or at least both get a look in the game, as George had it walled away from her. It's chipped up centrally, headed down but not out. A touch, played back inside by Pluck. Harding now jostling with Fontenot. A slew of chances there for Brooklyn. A couple of pokes at the ball for Carolina, but they couldn't quite clear it.
And this is what Brooklyn needs. Brooklyn needs to be on the offensive attack. They not only need a win today, they need goals, and they need to pick up their pressure. It starts with their forwards. And you just see they have so many different chances, different balls in even, but just unable to connect. They're just missing by a little bit.
There's McClellan on the ball. Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super Newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter. Merrick couldn't keep that in bounds. Gave it a go. Unable to corral it. Breslin will roll it to the left. Here's Ginger Fontenot. Good work between Fontenot and Garziano. Now Mackenzie George set free. George bested by Aguilera there. Great recovery from the left back. We talk about her offensive capabilities, but she is a left back.
She really does it all. You see her with the recovery run on George. And I mean, George had the step, and Aguilera just showing how quick she is in the recovery run.
It'll be Kroger who takes it from the right corner flag. Brooklyn piecing together opportunity after opportunity, but can they really set one off here? Ambitious from Breslin.
That's not where she wanted the ball to go, I tell you that much. But it was spinning a lot. That takes a lot of concentration to be able to keep that ball down and put it on frame. And she does not.
When it works, it is glorious, but you get a handful of those in between each time a player hits a spinning ball outside the box like that.
But we'll still practice it every day.
Oh, yeah.
Just the hopes to get that one clean shot.
Porter swarmed by a couple of Brooklyn players there. This goes up to Kelly. She's been a great addition to this side since she was added April 1st. Kevin Tenyo, the technical director, saying she's connected well with the group and with the philosophy from the start. So it was just one of those scenarios where it was a player who, in some ways, was tailor-made for your squad, and so it was seamless to be brought in and to click with the side and with the style of play.
And who doesn't want another goal scorer on their team?
Say that again.
She scored at St. Louis. She scored at TCU, where she was last at.
Announced on April 1st, but she is no joke.
But that's a good one.
Audrey Harding rolls it up ahead to Merrick. Oh, look at that move from Addison Merrick. Merrick still weaving forward. Cleared away. Took on one too many players. But boy, does she blow by a couple.
Addison Merrick so good with her foot skills. The ball is just attached to her foot with a string.
Harding trying to demonstrate some of that aptitude here now. Kelly opts to just get that one away.
This is when Brooklyn needs to just start sending players forward. Your center midfielder in Kroger is able to intercept the ball. Send everybody up.
Corbin, chests it down. Dispossessed nicely for Brooklyn. Currently 0-0, pretty evenly fought affair, but evenly fought is not enough for Brooklyn. George trying to change it here. Her shot glanced away. Brooklyn FC need 3 points to stay alive in the playoff race. The draw isn't gonna cut it. Pluck. And that one slid out of bounds for a corner kick. They need 3 points and then a couple other things to bounce their way later tonight and next weekend. The unfortunate thing about, if you're a Brooklyn fan, you're gonna watch some of these other games, there's not a specific team to root for or root against because it is so tight between Fort Lauderdale, Brooklyn, Spokane, Dallas, and there's some overlap between who plays who, and so it's a very interesting configuration of the scenarios that Brooklyn can make it into the playoffs. Here's a look at how it looks at the moment. Fort Lauderdale and Dallas both still have 2 games to play, and yet it's more so one of them that you more likely will be competing with for that 4th spot, just with how the schedule breaks out. Spokane has just 1 more game left, but also has, as of right now, a 9-goal difference between you in the goal difference department.
And that's huge, right? 9 goals you need to make up. So they need these 3 points. Obviously, more goals helps. But right now, I'm just not seeing the urgency out of Brooklyn to push players forward at all.
In the most ideal scenario, being tied with Fort Lauderdale for that last spot's the most ideal situation for Brooklyn because Fort Lauderdale's just at +1. That's still 5 goals though, but that's the best that you've got right now if you're Brooklyn. So you have to both get 3 points in this game, and if you can, win by several goals to close that gap a little bit more, and then you're hoping that Fort Lauderdale in one of these games lose by a considerable margin to cut down on their goal differential. It's a lot of mental gymnastics. But that's the situation that Brooklyn are in now, so I have to play with the cards that you've dealt for yourself throughout the season.
And that's exactly it, right? An unbelievable fall season Brooklyn had. And then the foot came off the gas somehow in this spring season. You know, over between seasons, between break or on break, you know, they went over to Italy as a team, played some games over there. But as far as the spring, they just have not been able to connect and come together as a team.
against the Carolina side that have been the picture of consistency throughout this season. I think it's even more so the case when you have these 2 seasons in this structure. Coaches always say in the other USL leagues, the ones that play from about March to October-ish, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. But I think it's even more applicable in the Super League given the fact that you start in August and then you're playing until here in May. Their eggs can't all be loaded into one basket at any given time. You gotta think long term.
And you gotta love the fact, as far as the Super League is concerned, just having that even schedule, right? 8 teams, you're playing twice home, twice away, just an even platform for everybody. We haven't seen one team necessarily dominate all home games or dominate all road games. There's been up and down. The last place team has beat first place team and vice versa. Just such great parity and competition in the league all season. You see how compact Carolina is on defense now.
Harding lays this one out wide. No one in the vicinity. Brooklyn fans, are you already itching to be back in Coney Island next season? Season tickets are now on sale for the 2025-2026 season beginning in August. Early bird pricing is available through June 1st, so scan the QR code on the screen to get your tickets today. See you out at Coney Island.
Roller coasters, Ferris wheels.
Yeah.
Coney Island has it all.
Usually the order of operations would be go to the theme park, then go see a soccer game. Now, it might be the inverse today, though. Go see the soccer game and then go check out the theme park.
Yeah, you would not want to be stuck on that Ferris wheel with the rainstorm that came through before.
Although the rain subsided after making its entrance for about 15 minutes in the first half, still got a bit of a breeze here. Of course, you're going to get that on the coast. Service sent inside, not out of the woods yet. Carolina able to clear. Now it's Catherine Gonzalez all by herself, but Corbin and other backup trying to streak forward with her.
Carolina still looking to score as well. You see, as soon as they were able to win that ball, they sent all their players forward.
Certainly not going to play passively. And they'll be looking for some combinations down this left side. The pair of Jill Aguilera and Audrey Harding this season has been dastardly. And it was a combination that, according to Philip Poole, didn't click immediately when they first got in. They've worked really hard at figuring out that system. They put in a lot of effort to figure out how they're going to communicate. Just sometimes, you know, you start working with someone and they communicate in a different way than you do, and it just takes some time to figure each other out. But now it's really started to click. And he said one of them is tough enough to handle on that end, but with both of them, it is really challenging, and it could still get even better for them from here. Still room for improvement. But between Aguilera and Audrey Harding, you've got 7 goals and 12 assists.
We haven't seen many deadly combos from the two of them today, but they have worked together for some great goals. Aguilera, so great at getting behind the defense. She times it with Harding, who splits the defense, and then it's Aguilera just sending those great balls right across the 6 that makes it so hard for a goalkeeper to stop.
That was how they scored the goal in the last game against Tampa, just moments into the match. Harding springing Aguilera free down that left-hand side, and then she put in that very nice ball for Hutch to put away. Easily dealt with there by Carolina. After a positive start here to the second half for Brooklyn, the Ascent have taken the wheel once more. Talked about lacking sense of urgency at some point in time. You're going to see that start dialing up for Brooklyn.
We hope.
And that's, I mean, it's all more the better for Carolina as well, because then that's going to start opening up some avenues on the back end.
Ooh.
Well,
that was awkward.
Upping intensity. That was certainly not the way we were hoping to see it translate onto the pitch, and hitting the boards never comfortable. Riley Parker ailing a bit.
Right in front of the injury lawyer's sign, too.
Can't make that up.
See some possible subs coming on for Carolina.
Two changes readying for Coach Philip Poole. Won't take place yet. Free kick incoming for Carolina. Merrick drilling that one into the penalty area, takes a bounce, and it's claimed by Alexa Goldberg. Gets there right before Butler could. Once again, the first pro appearance for Alexa Goldberg. Got there just in time.
It's a nice service in there, too, by Carolina. Goldberg still has to stay on her toes. She's getting a lot of action today.
So the changes now starting to take place as Jada Bedoya subs into the game for Audrey Harding. And Sarah Tricoli steps out, and in comes the Academy player, B. Hilton. Youngest goal scorer in Carolina Ascent history. So the first two changes here in the second half during play for Philip Poole. Of course, Megan McClelland swapping in for Murphy, the goalkeeper spot going into the second half of action. All 7 players still sitting on the bench, waiting to be changed for Brooklyn. A couple of moments where a little bit of hacking happening, and it'll end up being a free kick for Brooklyn. Stay informed about all things Super League. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into the league. Once again, Kroger and Garziano sit behind this ball. And some dangerous set pieces for both sides in this game, but none have been able to break through. Kroger spinning it in, headed towards goal, straight into the hands of McClelland.
I like the idea here by Brooklyn, but it's a tough position to put that ball so far out wide. You have it center, right? The ball's already centered with the free kick. I'd rather see them try and keep it, either a shot and goal or a little chip over centrally. When they put it too wide, it's so hard to get ahead on it.
Even if you connect, that's a lot of distance that ball has to travel.
It was a beautiful cross, and it was a great header. It's just hard to get that much power off a lofted cross with the header on goal.
Merrick rolls it out to the right-hand side. Service glances out. Corner kick incoming for Carolina. Merrick and Parker combining. And now Aguilera will make her way to the right corner flag.
We already saw one excellent corner by Aguilera in already. That's where she gets a lot of her assists as well.
Leads the league in chances created with 45 coming into the day. She might get another crack at it here. From a different vantage point, Aguilera serves it in. Bobbles in and out. Aguilera, another service. Bounces over to the left-hand side. Precarious, but rolls out for a goal kick.
Goldberg doing a good job coming off her line there.
76 appearances with the Gators. 15 clean sheets in that stretch of time. Once again, was playing with the Gators in the fall. Picked up in January. So immediately getting in on the pro game as Kelly rolls it forward. George holds it off! Great stop by McClellan.
See how dangerous George is. They're now trying to find her feet, find her on the split passes. Let George work the magic that she always done. Great patience here. Faking like she's gonna go left, spins to her right.
The feed from Caroline Kelly, trying to get George her 5th goal of the season. The fans getting invested once more. 20 minutes from now, we'll be looking at our watches to see if this game is coming to a close. And Brooklyn, between now and then, need to find the back of the net at least once. Kelly. It's booted away. Rolling ball inside the penalty area. Doesn't get too far. George. Putting a zip tie there. Cleared away. Just not on the same timing with Kelly.
Kelly was on, but I think she thought she was off. And that's why she hesitated, but that was a great through ball there. And credit Kroger with the ball from her head there with the pass. Great control.
Copy that, thank you. Brooklyn pushing forward again. Here's Pluck. Still in bounds. And another corner kick.
Now we start seeing Brooklyn pushing forward, right? Trapping the ball into Carolina's defensive third. This is what they should have been doing since minute 1.
Starting to turn on the burners here. Curling ball into the bread basket of McClellan. And now Taylor Porter rolls it up the touchline. That'll be a Brooklyn throw. But before they do that, we're going to get some substitutions. Once again, for Phillip Poole, Ashlyn Sarepka and Riley Baisden will sub in. Catherine Gonzalez and Mia Corbin will step out. So Corbin will stay at 12 goals going into the final game of the season for Carolina. Allie Thornton will have the chance to pass her later tonight, so be sure to check that out on Peacock. Big game against Fort Lauderdale. Baisden was the other player that Phillip Poole mentioned. He's going to try to get more minutes here for these 2 games before the postseason. Thank you. Here comes George. Mackenzie George taken down. gonna say it's a clean challenge. It was a risky one from Merrick. And yet another corner kick. This will be the 8th one for Brooklyn in this match. Garziano. Curling ball, nicely done! But the touch just hops over the crossbar. Caroline Kelly looking to, in essence, create a similar goal to the one she scored 2 weeks ago.
Really doesn't get more wide open than that. Nobody's marking Kelly on the back post. All she has to do is redirect that ball on the goal. She unfortunately just gets her foot under it to pop it over the goal. But I like this. This is all positive stuff from Brooklyn, right? They're sending the players forward now. They're getting those chances. They're getting corner kicks.
Fontenot. Some duress here for Brooklyn. Goldberg is able to get out of it, at least. Knocks out of play. Brooklyn fans, are you already itching to be back in Coney Island next season? Season tickets are now on sale for the 2025-2026 season beginning in August. Early bird pricing is available through June 1st, so scan the QR code on the screen to get your tickets today. See you out at Coney Island. Coney Island. Bedoya's ball took a deflection, then claimed by Goldberg. Alexa Goldberg from St. Petersburg, played at St. Petersburg High School, where she also played as a midfielder. Her senior year of high school scored 9 goals and 16 assists. So
not too shabby.
Not too bad at all. George down the right channel. Brooklyn continuing to push and might be getting ready for some substitutions here soon. As you see Kess Elmore taking off the penny and warming up. For some offensive juice. Brooklyn having to turn up the dials as time ticks away. Kelly. It's deflected away. And it'll bounce for another corner kick. Trying to give these fans something to cheer about here. The fan support been amazing all season. Trying to give them one more thing to cheer about here at home. Kroger headed back to her. Garziano tosses it in. And take a guess what we've got. It's another corner kick.
Another corner indeed.
10 now for Brooklyn. Here comes Kroger's service. And why not have another one?
Let's make it 11.
Corner after corner for Brooklyn. But they're gonna have a reconfiguration on this one. Perhaps on this 11th corner kick. The difference is this substitution. Garziano out for Kess Elmore. Obviously losing Garziano. You're losing some of that goal scoring production, but perhaps Elmore's the look that they need in this game for the last 10 minutes. Kroger serves it in. Just too low. How about that effort from Bedoya? And Jada Bedoya still has it. Tries to lay it off. Twisting to win it back. Brooklyn will now go the opposite direction. McClellan, way outside her penalty area. Boots that one up ahead. The fans trying to urge Brooklyn to take a shot towards goal. It was going to be tough to do so.
And Carolina, just a few minutes ago, they had everyone sent forward.
Hilton has it again. Aguilera feeds it up ahead. Basin tries to knife it inside. Something brewing here for Carolina now. Sarepka, one of the substitutes. Connects with another substitute, Jada Bedoya. Nine more minutes plus stoppage time. Carolina Ascent locking up the Players' Shield last week. 2 games to tweak the model and get into the best shape you can get into for the playoffs. Meanwhile, Brooklyn fighting for their playoff lives. They need 3 points in this game or else they are eliminated.
And not for nothing, if you're looking at Brooklyn and you're looking at Alexa Goldberg, she can have her first debut and a shutout. How about that for a debut?
Would be great for the young goalkeeper. But they're going to want more than just that. They haven't had a shutout since the first day of March against Lexington. And it wasn't since March 15th that Carolina have been shut out. That was at Tampa on March 15th. Still a lot of time left in this game for a goal to be scored. Lovely ball to Merrick. Addison Merrick along that byline. And it'll be a goal kick. Took a moment for the AR to process what took place there. No need to hurry into a decision.
Nobody's waiting or anything.
Right. Fontenot to George. Mackenzie George. Been more involved here in the second half.
She just doesn't have a lot of help up there. It was George taking on 3 defenders.
Fontenot rises up for it. Bedoya does well to jockey for possession. And a foul on Sarepka as she dragged on to Pantuso there. She was looking to start pushing forward. This is the last game of the regular season for Brooklyn. Meanwhile, a road trip to Dallas to close out the season for Carolina next weekend.
We're still not seeing too much urgency from Brooklyn.
But they may be onto something here. Kelly, one-on-one with the defender. And the whistle blows. What seemed to be a moment of opportunity ultimately goes to the wayside. Caroline Kelly. Another look at this.
And we'll see what the call is here. She looked pretty even or on to me, but we also didn't see.
So it will be offside.
Yeah, we didn't see when Butler dropped when the ball was kicked. I think that was it.
5 more minutes to go. Carolina perfectly fine with gaining a point here. I'm sure they'd also love to find the back of the net in this one, but ultimately these points are just extra garnishes on their Players' Shield campaign.
And they played their tactics and strategy very well today. They wanted to keep possession. They wanted to knock the ball about. They wanted to get players more minutes than other games, and they've done just that.
Bedoya with the service. Hilton wipes out. Pluck in a sea of white jerseys. That was always going to be difficult. And now it's rolled out wide nicely to Bedoya. Was waiting patiently for it. Bedoya makes a move, sends it in the middle.
And I feel a little bit for these Brooklyn forwards, right? I know how it is. You want to score, you want to get goals, but you also can't take on 3 players every single time you have the ball. When they win the ball in the midfield, they have to counterattack, they have to transition, and they need players up to support.
Bedoya, curling ball in, headed away.
I mean, right now is a perfect opportunity, right? Get those defenders up, play with a high line.
They could be onto something here. Elmore rolls it forward for Pluck. The tracking back from both sides was good for Carolina. Very quickly, Mackenzie Pluck was flanked by 2 sprinting defenders. But the clearance does roll out in the favor of the home side.
And even in that situation, right, they steal the ball high, and it's still Pluck taking on 2 defenders.
Corner kick a bit high, and ultimately lackluster.
McCullen's going to take her time now. Again, Carolina doesn't need to win this game. Of course, every player and every game you play, you want to win, but you can just tell. They're very relaxed. They're playing more possession today.
Well, they certainly don't have the stress of having something they need to accomplish in this game, so you get to go in and just play your game and enjoy the sport. Of course, there are things you want to make sure you're honing in on before you get to the really important games, but
and like some of their other games, they've had chances. Today, they just haven't been able to put it away.
If you're a third-party interested viewer right now in the Super League, we appreciate you tuning in as George knifes this one in the middle. And boxed out there was Kess Elmore. She was trying to get to it.
Cass not happy about that one, but excellent defense here. We see George just doing work like George always does. I see nothing wrong with that. Good no call there.
Jenna Butler, the center back, ushering her off, making sure she doesn't get to the ball before McClelland does. Baisden up ahead. Ultimately no harm to it. Once this game concludes, still have 2 more games this evening in the Super League. Both starting at 7:30 Eastern. You got the big one, Fort Lauderdale and Dallas Trinity. And then Tampa Bay Sun trying to lock up a home playoff spot against DC Power They've got 2 minutes to go in this one. Brooklyn need a goal to stay alive. Another change incoming for Brooklyn. Ginger Fontenot will step out of the game, and Dana Sheriff will sub in. Sheriff a forward for a right back, so you know what that means.
Yeah, well, here's your offensive attack. Unfortunately, you only have about a minute and a half left, and you need a goal. I would have liked to see this change at halftime.
You had to throw it all against the wall. And although you could feel good in a vacuum about a draw with Carolina Ascent, that's not what they need here. 1 more minute to go. Kelly is now rolled ahead for George, and a sliding challenge knocks it away. Aguilera at the last moment releases. Yellow card being issued to the bench there after a quick catch from Kevin Tenyo. One of the assistant coaches on the bench getting the booking. Corner kick incoming, and this may be it. Do we see Alexa Goldberg come up and maybe channel her inner midfielder?
Could it be the 13th corner kick that does the trick for Brooklyn?
With their season on the line, Mackenzie Pluck drills it in short, and that's just not gonna do it. Will they get another go at it? Kroger playing it to Hill. No one's making the run. And you have to think that'll do it. And that is it. A 0-0 draw means that Brooklyn FC have officially been eliminated from the playoff race in the USL Super League. 1 point apiece between them and the Players' Shield champions Carolina Ascent.
Brooklyn just unable to get it done. The spring part of this season, fall they came out hot. Spring was a different story, and we realize in the Super League it is definitely a marathon, not a sprint. Brooklyn, unfortunately, this is their last game of this season.
With that, we're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll get the post-game thoughts here on Peacock. 0-0, your final score. Back here at Maimonides Park for one last time this season in the 24-25 season of the USL Super League. Mark Schoenster, Christine Huber with you here. 0-0, your final score between Brooklyn and Carolina. And we've got another Carolina goalkeeper on the mic with us, Megan McClellan, helping in the joint effort on a clean sheet today. Christine, go ahead and take it away.
Meg, you guys had a combined clean sheet today. How did it feel working with your defenders?
It felt great to get out on the field. It's a beautiful day out here in New York, and I think the team just always, sometimes we bend, but we don't break, and I think it just, we all felt great together, and, we love just to play the game and get shutouts.
Megan, you are a part of a fantastic goalkeeping group between you, Samantha. We've heard some great things about Charlotte as well. What's it been like working with this goalkeeping group this season, along with goalkeeper coach Evan Harvey?
Yeah, no, it's great. I think we have a lot of good competition. We just push each other, and we want the best out of each other. So I think that's really important in training. And it's great to come into that environment every day and always be challenged.
Well, this has been a crew that have all been challenging each other this entire season. Obviously, you got the Players' Shield last weekend, so congratulations on the combined shutout in this game. Go ahead and get back to your team. We thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
With that, Megan McClellan, her voice for the second 45 minutes in the goalkeeping role. Here are the full 90 minutes. Her counterpart, I should say, Samantha Murphy with the big save here.
Really big save. She was just able to read this right off the head of Brooklyn and just smash that ball on the goal line for the save.
Then the second half began, and Megan McClellan was asked to do some things early in this one. You see, Brooklyn off to a great start. That one just skidding off the top of the crossbar.
And Brooklyn really started attacking. They started getting that momentum, just not quite enough. But they continue here with the offensive chances. Good things happen every time Mackenzie George touches the ball.
Wouldn't be enough there. And that would be the last bits of the chance in the game. That one coming much earlier on in the game. Carolina able to really take the bite out of this one at times. And you can see it there in the possession numbers.
Carolina sticking with their game plan, sticking with their possession. But circle this number, 13 corner kicks for Brooklyn, unable to get one to score.
So 0-0, your final scoreline. 0-0 isn't gonna cut it for Brooklyn, which means that they're going to end with 39 points. Fort Lauderdale sitting below them right now, but they still have 2 more games, so they could still hot Dallas and or Spokane before everything is said and done. Brooklyn, they're done for the year. 39 points is below the playoff line, so that's it for them, but we still have some great drama coming your way on the USL Super League, including later tonight at 7:30 between the Dallas Trinity and Fort Lauderdale United. But that is the end of this broadcast here for our entire broadcasting crew. Christine Huber, my name is Mark Schoen. So we thank you for tuning in. Have a good rest of your day, and be sure to tune in to the other matches later tonight in the USL Super League. 0-0, your final score from Brooklyn.